Joining me now is Brandon Weiss. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Tom. How you doing?
Doing great, doing great. This is a fantastic home, and I understand that this is a sustainable home. What does that mean?
So all the homes we build are sustainable homes. That's kind of our focus, and we're focusing on a few things as that core philosophy. We want to build healthy homes that are non-toxic for our clients and give them the best indoor air quality possible for them to raise their families in. We're building homes to the highest level of building science. So we're taking a scientific approach to our construction and not just your traditional approaches.
So you really understand how all the materials put the home together in terms of the framing, to the flooring, to the sheathing of the outside walls, how it becomes a whole envelope and how all those systems work together.
That's right. We know those systems and correlate, and we specify, or I particularly specify a lot of the materials that go into our homes. So I've vetted them and looked at them for a health standpoint, a durability standpoint, a quality material standpoint. We want to make sure that it meets all those criteria, not just one or the other, and we're not trying to just use a healthy material if it's not going to last long and if it's not going to be a quality material that's going to be highly durable. To be a green home, it really needs to have everything, and it just can't be one thing.
Well, and this home is a perfect example of that. And those exterior materials that you used on this house, it just looks fantastic. This is a craftsman style home. Can you tell me about some of those materials?
Yeah, so our siding material is LP Smart Side. So that is it's an engineered siding product. It gives you a good look of cedar, but with a high level of durability and virtually maintenance free. The decking we use is moisture shield decking. It has some of the highest level recycled content of any decking on the market. It's a composite material. So again, it's going to be very durable and long lasting. Not going to warp and twist and have all those kind of effects to it, and is going to look great for a long time.
Well, and as you said, also it's low maintenance, so people can enjoy living in their home and not having to restain their decks or repainting their house.
Right.
I love that the materials that you use, though, and the thought of those materials carries on straight when you walk into this house and into this main living area. And it just has a great flow. Tell me about this space here.
So the clients really wanted an open concept, which is becoming very popular, and a lot of people want to go that way. So we wanted to have the house to flow together. So you can see here we have the family room, the dining room, the kitchen, all as one big open area, and the family can interact and have that flow and interaction. They can all kind of be together but still have their own places. And then going on with that, if they want their own places, there's this kind of offset room back here that gives some flexibility. We have a built-in bench with a table, so homework can be done there. If someone wants to read a book or get away for a little bit and have some quiet and peace, that's a way they can go but still be in the kind of the flow of the main living body of the house.
So everybody can be together but also have their own privacy.
Right, exactly.
But you're also using those same type of materials that you're using outside in here, including these floors and just how these walls are built.
So yeah, the floors we use, this is a bamboo product, and bamboo, there's good and bad with that, sustainable and non-sustainable. This is responsibly harvested bamboo. It is very durable and impact resistant, 154% harder than red oak itself. It's got 10 coats of factory finish on it, so very scratch resilient too in that terms. And there's a lot of different looks you can do. This is more of a vintage, so it's got some factory applied aging to it, which is what this client was looking for in the product.
And Brandon, you mentioned before that the exterior siding, these floors, these are all factory finished. I also understand that these cabinets are, and that really helps out in terms of the health of the home. How's that?
So yeah, Tom, whenever you can finish anything off-site, it really helps with the indoor air quality. You're finishing that off-site. Like cabinets, for instance, are sprayed, but they're sprayed with a water-based non-toxic finish, so it's not that it's toxic, but still anytime you can do something off-site, you prevent those particulates from being in the air. Same with the flooring. Flooring, cabinets, our doors, everything has no added urea formaldehyde, but it also has water-based non-toxic finishes on it. So we're really specifying those. A lot of people, fad words out there, low VOC, zero VOC. That doesn't really mean anything. It's really the toxicity of what's in that that's completely separate and it isn't measured in the VOC counts itself.
And by using these types of products that are finished off-site, it really is an investment to the future of the home.
Oh, definitely. And some of the home features may cost a little bit more, but then some cost less because we're spending more money on things that don't have a maintenance associated. Like we're spending more money on our insulation, but our HVAC system is being decreased. So there's some offset and balance with that. So, in this particular home, it was a great study in terms of, is a green building cost more? This home is built well beyond code. It's Department of Energy Challenge home. It's an NEHB Green Building Standard Emerald level home, which is their highest level. So we're able to do that and compete at the same price range. And it goes back to design, how the house was designed, and the components and what's in the home that really help make it efficient in terms of cost and the way we factored and built cost into things that are going to save our clients.
We started working with Brandon Weiss through an architect that I've known for a few years named Tom Bassadilli, and he really specializes in green building and sustainable architecture. And when we decided to build our home, and we met with Tom a couple times to talk about design. He wanted to bring in Brandon pretty quickly to start talking about the building process, and we hit it off with Brandon right away. We could tell that he has a passion for building green homes and sustainable homes, and really is up to date on all of the techniques. So we kind of hit it off and kind of agreed right there that we wanted to work with him.
And as David mentioned, when Tom brought Brandon in, it was very helpful from my perspective, not knowing a lot about green building, to have him really talk to us in layman's terms about the different sciences and really what's available out there from a green building perspective.
We definitely have seen, especially for the size of our house, which is much bigger than our old house, the prices going down. In these hot summer months, the air conditioning bill is not as much as it used to be, for sure. And the best part is kind of when we were building the house, in the winter time when it was really cold outside, I think there was like a negative wind chill, we would come to visit the house, and right after it had got insulated, we checked to see kind of if it was going to be warm. We wore our winter coats, it was freezing outside, and the only thing that was in the house was a space heater that was warming the entire house. And it was warm. You could take off your coat, you could pretty much be in a short sleeve shirt and jeans, and it was comfortable in the dead of winter. And that's just basically due to the insulation.
I really loved the fact that when we were working with Brandon, there wasn't anything he would suggest as far as options for putting into our home that he wouldn't recommend or put into his own home. So I really trusted that his experience and his expertise was one thing, and then that he also really understood what we were looking for from a family standpoint.
Well, we were always in communication with each other, whether it was email or text. It was really easy to get a hold of him and get him on the phone and talk through issues if we had any issues, or talk through what was going on in the schedule. So we were always kind of in communication with each other and talking about how everything was going and what the next steps were going to be. So it was great working with him in that respect. We would definitely recommend Brandon Weiss for anybody that wants to build a home that's green, that's sustainable, and that's using products that are non-toxic. I can't really imagine anybody that knows more about this subject than he does. He studies up on it. He loves to learn about it. I know he goes to conferences all the time to kind of stay up to date. So if you want to do that, which I don't really see why you wouldn't want to build a house that's forward-thinking, he's your guy.
Now, Brandon, you're using a lot of these practices and these materials, but what I love about this whole house is that it's sustainable, but it also at the same time just aesthetically beautiful. I love this kitchen. I love all the selections in this home, the staircase, and being sustainable doesn't put you in a box per se.
Definitely, no. You can definitely have great design, and you're not limited by design when you do a green building. It's components. A lot of what's a green building is behind the walls that you don't see and how a house is built, and which really determines the quality of home. The granite countertops and trim work, that adds to the detailing and the aesthetics of the home, but it's not really what equates to a quality home. A quality home is the durability, the long lasting of the home, and how it's made up, and test of time really is what a quality home is all about.
Well, and that's not just a philosophy for your company. You're actually award-winning and certified in all these different areas.
That's right. We've won 2012 Northern Illinois Home Builder Association Builder of the Year. We were 2011 Northern Illinois HBA Remodeler of the Year. We've won Best American Living Awards, which is a national award. We've been nominated this year for more national awards, and we've won a ton of local awards for Green Home. And we're certified graduate remodelers, so we've definitely worked our way through the classroom and got a lot of certifications, but it equates to the flexibility and the range of things we can do. Stylistically, price ranges, we're in all price ranges, we're in all styles, we're in all square footage ranges. We're licensed in the state of Florida as an unlimited general contractor, meaning I can build anything from a detached garage or do a remodel job to build a skyscraper on Miami Beach if I had the capital or investors to do that. But yeah, and we're also licensed in the state of Wisconsin as a residential home builder. So we have, even though Illinois doesn't require it, we've gone to other places and got that licensing to make sure, again, that we're viable, and we give people the peace of mind that when they hire us, they're going to get the highest quality and the best home they can get.
Well, and they're able to see that throughout the whole build, and that's just how you communicate with your clients through start, the ideas, all the way to completion. And I understand that you work hand in hand with architects and designers just to make sure that the homes that they want are their dream homes. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it's really important when you're building a home to this level. It's very important to have all members of the team, which are going to be the clients, most importantly, and the architect and builder together. So that way, as things get designed, they're both buildable, and they're buildable in the budget range of what our clients have as their budget for the project. But then also, specifying materials, the architect and I can work hand in hand, and then when the client brings up materials they like, we can figure out the best material to help suit them both in their budget, but from our health and energy efficiency standpoints, depending on if it's a finished material or it's a rough framing material, that kind of thing. So it's really a team approach, which on the back end gives the clients everything they want in the home and make sure that all their goals are met, because both builder and architect know all the goals from day one. Knowing the goals and having that same communication of all parties together throughout the whole phase, everyone knows what everyone said throughout the whole phase, and it's very important and gives people, they make them very happy on the back end and give them the exact product that they're looking for.
Well, and that communication continues all throughout the build process and how you communicate back to the clients themselves. And you're using technology to do that.
We are, yeah. We have our own app and website that clients can log into, our subcontractors log into. We keep the architect involved in that too. So that way they see everything going on in scheduling. So it's really kind of open book for scheduling, pictures and photos of construction, files, important documents, plan sets, all that kind of stuff can be on this, the app we have.
And Brandon, all the communication tools that you use and the techniques that you use to build these homes, that comes to the whole philosophy of the company. And when you started this, can you tell me that whole story?
Yeah, so when I started my company, I guess it goes well beyond that. When I was growing up as a kid, my father was a custom home builder, and he built stuff all over Chicagoland, the North Shore, western suburbs, kind of all over the place, and he did a lot of high-end custom homes. So I grew up on those job sites and watched these people work and kind of learn the trades. But then through my high school and college years, in the summer times, I was always put with different subcontractors and got to work with them through that summer to help learn that specific trade, which helped me learn trades individually and then have that bigger knowledge of how a house is done and individual trades, but also as a holistic approach to general contracting and being a project manager and things like that eventually.
Well, you definitely have a passion and a knowledge about how these homes are built. But also, this is just one technique that you use. I know the next home we're going to is insulated concrete forms, which is a completely different way of building a house. Why don't we go over there?
Sounds great.
Brandon, when you said you build in different styles and with different materials, wow, this house is completely different than the first house.
Yeah, like I told you before, we really want to have a diverse range of work that we can do and a lot of different aesthetic elements that we can achieve with our construction. Again, we're not trying to get it set in a certain type of style. We really want to be open for anybody that really wants an energy efficient and a healthier home and one to build to high quality and a high level of building science.
Well, and you also mentioned before that this is a passive home. What does that mean?
Passive house is the world's strictest energy efficiency certification. So we use about 90% less energy to heat and cool a passive house than we do in a code-built home, and about 75% less total energy than a code-built home. So really we're optimizing the shell of the home to make sure that the demand on it is super low. So we're maximizing our gains and minimizing our losses, and this is all achieved through super air tightness, super insulation, and a thermally bridge-free wall, so we don't have conductive heat loss or heat gain, depending on season, in our walls themselves.
Well, and how are you able to do that with this type of house?
Well, we're able to achieve it for several reasons. One, it's a lot of attention to that detail in the air sealing. We do that as a separate stage, and you really have to pay attention to every different penetration in your wall. We actually have an inventory of all the penetrations in this, so we make sure we went back and we hit all those and we're airtight. We also achieve it through our quality control methods we use. We use a blower door test that we have in-house with theatrical smoke machines and thermal imaging cameras that when we depressurize the house, if it's a different temperature outside, we can see that air infiltration. The side benefits of it are you get extreme comfort. I mean, obviously you get the low energy bills, but you get the extreme comfort that comes with it, extreme air quality, and we get 0.3 air changes every hour. What that equates to is a full house volume of air is exchanged every 3 hours in this home. So you get constant fresh air, and we know where that's coming from. It's controlled through our ERV unit, and we're exhausting air basically out of our kitchens, laundry, bath, kind of the moist areas of the home that also produce odors, and we're supplying that to the fresh air that comes in, so that outgoing air is preheating or cooling that incoming air and also exchanges humidification levels, and that's done through the ERV box itself. And then that's bringing supply of fresh air to our living areas and our bedrooms right above the beds, so you constantly get fresh air. It's getting rid of the CO2 buildup when you're breathing at night. So it's really good in terms of air quality, but also the way we built it with the non-toxic materials. That stuff combined just gives it a super healthy element to it.
Well, and I also understand with this house, you don't have like a traditional central heating or cooling system in the same way because you don't need it. Frankly, you're controlling the air temperature.
Right. Yeah, our total heat load on this house is 13,500 BTUs, and they really provide enough heating and cooling for this house to keep it comfortable, keep the temperatures consistent. Because we're airtight, we don't have that air sucking in the basement and blowing out through the attic. We're completely airtight to the slab underneath and the attic above, so we don't have that so much stack effect like you would have in a traditional structure.
Well, and you also use some other building techniques for making this home with the overall outside structure. What did you use on that? On
this home we use ICF blocks. So this client, they really wanted a very strong, durable house that was going to make it through anything. be here for years and years, but also comfortable. Their old house had drafts all over the place, and one bedroom was freezing, another one was hot. So passive house was a natural fit in terms of that. And the way we built the wall then was a concrete wall because that's what they wanted. So we used an ICF wall. Basically, it's an insulated concrete form. So it's 2 3/4 of foam on the inside and outside with a 6-inch core of concrete with rebar and all that in it. But it's like stacks like Legos, and you pour the concrete in. It's a form that stays in place, but also is your R value. On this house, we added to that R value by placing additional insulation on the outside. And then also on the inside, we built a 2x4 wall that we've filled with insulation as well to really get this house the R value we needed to be a passive house.
One of the things that I've also noticed in walking into your homes is that they seem very tranquil, and that's just because of all that outside noise is not coming in.
Right, yeah, I've heard stories of the neighbors, the metal garbage cans rolling up and down the driveway. They had no idea about that, just because these walls are super airtight, so you don't get that noise transfer through the air leakage and conducted that way, but you also don't get it through the walls because of the insulation value. And these windows are really great too, and they buffer all that stuff out.
And some of those other projects that we've also seen is those wine cellars. Wow, those are just well thought out all the way through.
Those are stuff a lot of times we design those and we do the build outs for them. So, but it kind of follows the same philosophies that we're following with our building science. We need to make sure we're handling moisture and temperature the right way. We're thermally broken in our walls. These people have, some of our clients have tens of thousands of dollars invested in their collection. And they need to make sure that, one, that they're going to stay consistent temperatures and humidity in there so that it's stabilized. Two is that, we're not using toxic materials in any of our construction, but in our wine cellars, again, same kind of principle. And, if you do have toxic things, some of that can taint the wine through the cork because the cork is a porous surface. So we're really trying to protect their investment in their collection and give them a great product that looks great, but is super functional too and doesn't have to run all the time and isn't noisy and that kind of thing. So it gives them a great place to either taste wine on the inside. We do tasting rooms. We've done cigar rooms attached to them, all sorts of different stuff. But yeah, it's a great, and it's a fun business too to do those wine cellars, and people get good use out of those rooms and enjoy them so much.
We wanted to do an efficient house. We definitely wanted to do an efficient house, and something that, low energy costs, because we wanted, me personally, I wanted, it was going to be our last home, like the home we were going to live in forever. So wanted, at the very least, to be, future-proof house. You never know what's going to happen, so I wanted low resource usage, living in the house, and low impact building it as well for, just for moral reasons. You don't want to be tearing down a rainforest to build one house. And so Tom suggested we do a passive house, which I'd never heard of before he mentioned it. Tom is our architect. And we started seeing how that would work, with discussing the building options. We decided to go with the ICF construction because it's sturdy and very, very thermally efficient. And then when it came time to find a builder, he said, well, I know this guy who does very, very good work with green building, and recommended to us. Came over to our house, we met him, and yeah,
we were really impressed with the vast knowledge that he has in green building and with indoor air quality and issues of health. That was a concern for us because our son and our daughter both had some breathing issues when they were younger. So we were really interested in finding out how to build healthy for the children.
Right. And yeah, he right off the bat came up with suggestions that, we had made assumptions we were going to use cellulose insulation as an example. And because we thought, well, fiberglass is going to be terrible for your lungs. And he said, no. Cellulose is actually pretty bad because it flakes and actually gets into the air. When there's this new fiberglass that doesn't off-gas at all and stays very, very stable, and it's, that's thermally efficient.
Right. We got the bricks from the old house that was standing here that we tore down. So we decided we wanted to recycle some of the materials from that old house, being green and everything. So the architect came up with the idea of building the retaining walls using these wire cages and bricks. And everybody walks by the house and says, okay, tell me about the bricks. What's going on with these bricks? But it's very interesting to look at. It's better than just a plain cement retaining wall, which is what we would have. I don't know if you noticed as you were walking through the house, but I have thermometers everywhere in this house. So there's like, every once in a while you just catch a glimpse of a thermometer. And 68 in this house in the winter is so much cozier than 68 in the old house, because the old house had drafts. So you would walk by something and all of a sudden feel the cold air coming in, but technically it was 68 all around, you know what I mean? This house is airtight. You're not gonna feel a draft.
It's no draft, and it was
so it's
68
much cozier.
In one spot. Then upstairs,
it'd be like 63, But here it's pretty even. We would definitely recommend Brandon Weiss again to our friends. We have
We
friends
have.
and family as well. So
Yeah,
hopefully he'll be getting a lot of projects out of it. And anybody who's called us to ask us how the process was working with Brandon, we've had nothing but good things to say because it was really a wonderful experience. We learned a lot. He kept us on point. He, like I said, found materials at an affordable price, introduced us to a lot of concepts about indoor air quality, and brought the project in on time and
he
pretty
managed-
much
he
under
managed to
budget. I
schedule
think the
really
budget
well.
was my fault, but pretty much under budget.
We first heard of Brandon Weiss in a magazine article we read in Wine Spectator magazine. We liked his design and passion for performance. Our wine collection is from all over the world, and we shipped our collection from Europe and Australia. Our collection is a major investment, so we wanted to ensure our cellar would protect that collection with consistent temperature and humidity. Also, Brandon's knowledge of non-toxic construction was important because we didn't want our wine tainted with formaldehydes and other toxic chemicals. Beyond that, we needed a beautiful cellar that would show well in our home and be a place we could show off to our friends and family. Brandon Weiss provided us with the perfect mix of high design, superb craftsmanship, non-toxic materials, energy efficiency, and all with quiet operation. He has lived up to his reputation and credentials and offered us a one-stop solution for design and build out. We love our wine cellar and plan to have Brandon do another cellar for us at our condo downtown in the near future.
In talking to your homeowners, one of the things that they've also said was just how clean your job sites have been. And that just comes from your passion about keeping the environment clean.
Yeah, it's the environment and the health of the homeowner. So if you have a dirty job site all the way through construction, that house is naturally going to be dusty when people move in. So by controlling that and taking really precautions and making sure we're shop vacuuming things with filters throughout construction, before we air seal and before we insulate, we make sure all the stud cavities are completely vacuumed out, each individual one. There's no dust trapped in our walls. Even our trusses, if they're open web trusses, we're going to vacuum those cords off or dust those cords off so we can make sure that all the dust in the house is out of the house. Because once it gets sealed up in that wall, it's there forever.
Brandon, it really does sound like you are building homes that will last long into the future.
Yeah, and we're building them for longevity and durability for that long term. We want to build homes that last, 300 years. Make sure they're going to be here for my kids, grandkids, and grandkids to see. Be here like European homes are built, and that's kind of what inspired me to start down this path of the business. But also in terms of technology has been changing very rapidly lately, and it always has through the history of mankind. So we want to make sure that we're trying to put the stuff in our homes and the technology there that it's going to be future-proof for our clients. We run solar PV tubes up to the roof, so if they want to do solar panels, it's up there. Solar thermal panels, we can do that. This house has a solar thermal, but if it didn't, we could run tubes up there so they could always put solar hot water in if they want. And also we provide our clients with pictures of all the walls with tape measures vertically and horizontally so they can see exactly where everything's at. And if they want to modify something or do any remodeling in the future, we're hoping they call us, but if they were to want to do it themselves or a DIY project, they cut a 6-inch hole and they get exactly what they want instead of taking off a whole sheet of drywall to find out where's that pipe they ran. I know it's in this room somewhere, so we really want to make sure it's there for them, and we give them all the information they need. This home comes with a homeowner's manual with those pictures, but also instructions on maintenance and where things are at and how to operate things, and owner's manuals for all the products in the home.
You really have thought about how they're going to be living in the home and how they're going to be using the home, kind of having that owner's manual for them to use after they moved in. Now, in terms of the construction process and from start to finish, they're working with you, correct?
Yeah, I'm on site every day, and I'm there for them. I'm the point of contact. I'm everything. If they need a question, I'm the one that answers it. I've helped through the design phase with our clients, and I'm not going to hand it off to someone in the field to take care of it from there. It's been clear communication with myself through that design phase. I want to make sure it's carried through the field, and if they have any questions, they have my cell phone number. Very open to my clients and making sure that they can get a hold of me, and I'm very accessible to them.
And Brandon, these two homes are perfect examples of just infill building in established neighborhoods, but you also build in some new neighborhoods too and some new developments.
Yeah, we're actually one of the preferred builders out at Saracen Farms. It's a development out in the western suburbs of Chicagoland, and that's a whole development that's based around the sustainability principle. It's all going to be sustainable, third-party certified homes built to a high level of air quality and things like that. It's going to be a great development, and we actually got chose to build the model home for the developer, so we're going to be starting that project upcoming soon. That's more of a farmhouse style home with a nice wraparound porch and great views out. When you're out west that far, you can see forever, and you can see storms rolling in and everything.
Now, Brandon, if somebody was interested in finding out more information or just getting in contact with you, what's the best way?
Well, going to our website's one great way. We have all of our emails and phone numbers listed on there, including my cell phone number, so that's a great start. Actually, calling our office is great too, and we can contact you that way too. And soon we hoping to be opening a showroom up on 3rd Street in Geneva, which will allow people to come in and have consultations, design consultations. We'll have a little design center there. We'll also educate people on what they should be looking for in their homes.
Well, it really is. Today has been a great education for me, and I've loved touring these homes. They are fantastic. I want to thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yep, thanks for having me, Tom. It's great to have you out here.